All right, everyone ready to put on their detective hats. Today we're doing a deep dive into a real-life art heist. We've got police reports and witness statements and,
Oh, this is going to be good.
it's a good one. A valuable painting has been
That's
stolen
right.
from the Royal Art Gallery in London.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, owned by a Mr. Harris.
Okay.
And it's a real head-scratcher. Some things just aren't adding up.
Well, you know, it's really interesting to me right off the bat.
Yeah.
This has that locked room mystery feel to it.
Yeah.
We've got this seemingly impossible theft.
Yeah.
A painting vanishes from a supposedly secure gallery.
Right. It's like, how is that even possible? It feels like something out of a movie.
Exactly.
So, okay, picture this. The Royal Art Gallery, that big, beautiful one with the fancy neoclassical front, that's our crime scene.
I know that one.
And Mr. Harris, the owner, he says he checks security every single night.
Every night.
Every night. But somehow, one very important painting,
Yep.
the one with the giant golden frame,
Oh, I think I know the one.
it disappears. No trace.
Vanishes. And that is the heart of a good locked room mystery.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, how could this even happen?
Yeah.
And it really narrows down who we can suspect, because in this case, it's got to be someone with access.
Right.
So that leads us to
The staff.
the gallery staff.
Exactly. So the staff are our main suspects.
Right.
But hold on. Before we jump to conclusions, let's break down what Officers Brown and Patel did step by step.
Okay, yeah.
What's the first thing they do?
So they sit down with Mr. Harris and start asking about the staff.
Okay.
They want to know if anything seemed off, weird behavior, money problems,
Yeah.
anything that screams, this is someone who might steal some expensive art.
Classic detective work, right. Gotta lay the groundwork.
Absolutely.
So then we get to the good stuff security footage. What do they see? 2:00 a.m., a masked figure walks right into the gallery.
Now you might think, oh, come on, a masked thief. How cliche.
Yeah.
But think about it.
Okay.
The mask means this wasn't some random spur-of-the-moment thing.
Ooh, that's true.
This was planned. This was deliberate.
Okay, premeditation.
Premeditation.
That changes things. But here's the kicker. No fingerprints.
No fingerprints
No fingerprints.
at the scene.
None. Zilch. Only thing they find is a busted lock.
Well, a really good art thief, they'd know how to not leave fingerprints. Gloves, special tools, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
That broken lock could be a distraction.
Oh, a red herring?
Exactly.
Okay, so maybe we are dealing with a pro.
Maybe.
So what do they do next? They head over to the staff's homes, right? Standard procedure, I guess?
Oh, yeah. Visiting their homes, that's routine.
Yeah.
It lets the officers see their environment, see how they react when the police show up,
Right.
and maybe spot if their stories don't quite add up.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
But get this, when they get to the first staff member's house, it's empty.
Empty.
No one's home.
Nobody home.
Pretty spooky, right?
An empty house when you're investigating something like this, that's a big red flag.
Yeah.
Is this staff member just on vacation at a really bad time, or did they run because they knew the cops were coming?
Ooh, good question.
Right.
Things are getting interesting.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. At the second staff member's house, the door's wide open, and inside, it looks like a fight happened.
A fight.
Papers everywhere, furniture flipped over.
Oh, wow.
You can tell something happened there.
Yeah. Sounds like someone left in a hurry. Maybe they were forced out.
Right. Were they involved in the art heist?
Or did something else totally scare them off?
It's like every new clue just makes things more complicated.
Definitely.
And then, while they're looking around, Officer Brown finds a photo on the floor. It's the second staff member with some guy they don't recognize.
Ooh.
Now things are really getting good. Could this mystery man be our art thief? Or maybe someone who helped?
This mystery man, he just throws another wrench in things.
Yeah.
This photo, it could link that staff member directly to the crime.
Right.
Or maybe point to something bigger going on, like a whole network involved.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, so to recap, we've got a masked figure, a missing staff member, a house that looks like it was tossed,
Yeah.
and now a mystery man in a picture.
Quite a mess.
Yeah, a real mess. So last we left off, the officers were standing in that house holding that photo. What happens next?
Well, this is when we get that little glimpse into Officer Brown's past.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Remember when they're driving between the houses and he starts talking about his early days as a cop in London?
Yeah. It felt kind of random, Like, why are we hearing about this now, right in the middle of all this?
Right, it seemed out of place.
But I have a feeling it's more important than it seemed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it might just seem like we're getting to know him a little.
Yeah.
But it could be super important for understanding how he's handling this case.
Okay.
Think about it. His past, his experience, knowing all the ins and outs of London,
Yeah,
that could give him a whole different perspective.
right.
Maybe he's seen cases like this before, dealt with art thieves.
Oh, and
Maybe he knows those hidden spots in the city where stolen stuff ends up.
it's like his past is helping him in the present.
Exactly, like a secret weapon.
So, back to the investigation. They're in full-on search mode now, trying to find that missing staff member.
Yeah. How urgent does it feel?
Oh, very. They call for backup. There are police everywhere. They know they gotta move fast, especially with art theft.
Yeah, the longer it's gone, the harder it is to get back, right?
Right. It could be out of the country, sold who knows where. So as they're leaving that ransacked house, Officer Patel asks what we're all thinking, right?
What's that?
You think they're connected to the painting?
Oh, yeah.
What does Officer Brown say?
Well, he takes a moment, considers everything, says they might be, but we need more than guesses. This case is getting deeper than I expected.
Classic Brown. Careful, doesn't jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
But you can tell he's thinking hard, trying to put it all together.
Oh, yeah.
So as we wrap up part 2, we're left with so many questions.
So many.
What's the connection between the missing staff and the stolen painting?
Right.
Who is this guy in the photo?
Yeah.
And will they ever find the painting?
And that's what I love about real-life mysteries. It's not like a detective novel where everything gets tied up neatly.
Right.
We just don't have all the answers.
True.
The investigation's still going. There could be more twists coming.
I bet.
But we can look at what we know.
Yeah.
Think about the possibilities.
Yeah.
Maybe even make our own guesses.
Exactly. That's what makes these deep dives so much fun. We're not just listening to a story, we're trying to solve it too,
We're part of the investigation.
alongside the detectives.
Mm-hmm.
So while we wait to see what happens, let's think about what we've learned. What really stands out to you?
You know, for me, it's the psychology of it all.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about a painting getting stolen.
Right.
It's about the motives, the secrets, the choices
Yeah.
that got us to this point. Like,
Yeah.
what made that staff member disappear? Were they scared? Guilty? Or something else completely? And what about the mystery man? What's his part in all of this?
You know, at first I was all about who did it,
Uh,
but now I'm more interested in why they did it.
the why.
Yeah. What led to this? What was at stake? It's like each clue shows us a bit more of the story behind the story.
Exactly. It turns a simple art heist into this whole human drama playing out behind the scenes.
You're right. It's those human parts, those glimpses into what makes these people tick that make this case so interesting.
It reminds us that there's always more than meets the eye.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's the questions that don't get answered that stick with us the most.
Well said. Okay, I think it's time to wrap up part 2,
Okay.
but we'll be back. In part 3, we'll dig deeper into the motives. We'll talk about why that painting was so important.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll even find out if Officer Brown's past holds the key to solving this.
Can't wait.
Don't miss it. All right, last part of our deep dive. We've still got that missing staff member, the mystery man, so many questions still unanswered. But before we go any further, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier. The painting.
The stolen painting.
Yeah, we've talked about the people, but what about the painting itself?
Right, the missing masterpiece. In a lot of these cases, the artwork is almost like a character in the story.
I like that.
It's not just about how much it's worth, but what it means to the people involved.
That's true. Why this painting specifically? Was it just the most valuable thing in the gallery? Or could there be something more to it?
Good question. Maybe something about what the painting shows, or its history, or what it symbolizes.
Yeah.
Maybe that meant something to the thief or that missing staff member.
Like we're trying to get inside their heads.
Exactly. Trying to understand the why of the crime. Did they pick it for a reason? Were they trying to send a message? Or was it just about the money they could get for it?
So many possibilities. And speaking of connections, I keep thinking about Officer Brown and all that stuff he was saying about his past. Do you think knowing London's art scene, or maybe even running into some shady characters back in the day?
Oh, you mean from his early days as a cop?
Yeah. Could that help him now?
It's possible. Maybe he's seen something like this before. Maybe he knows about art forgers or those underground groups that sell stolen stuff.
Oh, like a secret network.
Yeah, exactly. His past could be like a map, helping him figure out this impossible maze.
Wow, I never thought of it like that. It's like his past is a key to figuring out what's happening now. And as we're talking, I'm realizing this deep dive has become more than just figuring out who did it.
Oh, yeah.
It's about people. about the choices we make, the secrets we keep, and how complicated life can be.
That's deep. And you're right, this whole case, with all its twists and turns and hidden reasons, it really shows you how complex people are.
It does. It reminds us that there's always more to the story than what we see at first. And,
Hmm.
as much as I like knowing how things end, part of me likes that this is still a mystery.
Really?
It lets us keep guessing, making our own theories.
Using our imagination. Absolutely. And, not every story needs a perfect ending. Sometimes it's the questions that we don't get answers to that are the most interesting.
True, very true. They make us think. So this deep dive has been quite a ride.
It has.
So many twists and turns, so many possibilities. We've looked at clues, thought about motives, and found some hidden connections.
And we did good work.
Even though we might not have all the answers right now, we definitely understand this art heist better than we did before.
We do. And who knows, maybe someday we'll get the last piece of the puzzle. Maybe that staff member will show up. Maybe we'll find out who the mystery man is. Maybe the painting will come back.
I hope so.
But until then, we have the fun of not knowing, and that's part of what makes a good mystery so great.
I like that. You've given us a lot to think about today. Thanks for joining us on this amazing journey. And to everyone listening, keep those detective minds working and never stop asking questions. We'll see you next time.